Today, we're going to talk about what is a COVID impact statement.
Months ago, we were still calling it the new normal. And we were like, when things go back to normal. I don't know that anything's ever going to go back to the way it was. So many things about the world in so many different aspects that have COVID has kind of exposed the soft white underbelly, if you will. Traditional lending, I wonder if we'll ever see that again.
They're asking about how is this business going to survive in a pandemic?
COVID impact statement, to go back to your initial question. It's a new item included in the loan application package, and we've been kind of cheerleading about it for several months, long before we heard lenders were asking about something called a COVID impact statement, or even knew such a thing might exist. We've been saying to business owners for months, since our initial conversations with them in March and April, when they approached us about how can you get me some disaster financing, thinking like the lender in my head that I've been for 30 years, I was asking these business owners, what's your plan to get through this? Because Linda Ray and I created our COVID impact statement literally on March 18, 2020, day after St. Patrick's Day, the day after Governor Lamont here in Connecticut locked down the state of Connecticut. So we pivoted and we came up with concepts and ideas which we have so far very successfully implemented to move our business into a COVID impact resiliency. Today, while COVID continues its pandemic status, to think about what is your business doing right now and what is your business doing going forward that helps your business survive. And so with COVID impact, it's the same concept. You need to convince a lender that you have what it takes.
Right.
Because as skeptical as lenders are in, what we previously called traditional times and traditional lending, lenders were apt to say no. They look for a reason to say no because they're assessing risk. Well, the risk now is not only a more stringent, heavier type of risking for the lender, but also it's literally the other end of this is completely unknown. Does this thing end at 3 a.m. this afternoon, or does it end 3 years from now? So the lenders are taking their normal risk tolerance and really pounding it on top of business owners, so much so they're cutting out whole industries. But the COVID impact statement is something that you have to really think about. You cannot just say, I opened up a patio outside my restaurant where the parking spaces were and I put 5 tables out there. Not cutting it.
We've been pontificating pre-COVID where the business plans were non-existent for a lot of business owners that were seeking financing, legitimate businesses looking for legitimate financing for legitimate reasons, and they didn't have business plans. So now the thing is, we have been harping more than ever on how critical planning is with forecasting worst case scenarios and alternative planning possibilities. The banks are looking for that. They need to know that you're going to pay back the loan.
Going back to COVID impact statement, going back to the pivot, going back to business planning and preparing for how to survive today and how to survive in a long term through this thing, which we don't know when it's going to end. You have really got to climb that mountain in the Himalayas and go and find that monk that's up there meditating, and you have to expand your mind in your business planning and be as creative as Picasso.
I know you could go on and on. Let's talk about the things that the lenders are looking at that the business owners should be very mindful of how they proceed. We have a little bit of a list. We have credit scores and substantial equity investments. What's the valuation? What's the experience of the business owners? These are all things, there's a lot of things you already know that you could be starting your business plan to have it ready for. What the bank is looking for is the COVID impact statement. These are all elements of it to assess.
If you have your business plan that has addressed these issues, then when you're applying for business credit financing and you have to fill out a COVID impact statement, you literally just have to open your business plan, pick out the phrases and the sections and the paragraphs that are applicable to your COVID impact. And
I like how when you open that, there was a blank page on the top, which is how most things start. It's blank, which is a blank canvas, which is you can create it and get as creative as possible with how you plan to run your business. A lot of business owners that have been around for a long time, there are many, many, many business owners that are going to make this and they're going to come out stronger and they're fierce with their business. There are other business owners that might not be in the game for as long. So there needs to be some attention to detail if you want to not just survive and you want to thrive.
As difficult as it was to get approved for business financing pre-COVID,
yeah, oh boy,
you cannot imagine how immensely more difficult it is. And this is someone we have closed some very difficult financing deals with. And she's amazing. She's awesome. And she works for a great bank that has a culture of making the deal.